Hello everyone.
Hello sir.
So today we'll be starting a new topic which is called linear arrangement. So linear arrangement is a topic which we'll be discussing over the next 3 sessions, following which we'll be having 3 more sessions on circular arrangement. So today is going to be the first session on linear arrangement. So let us try to understand what exactly is linear arrangement. So linear arrangement is basically where you arrange people in a row from left to right. They may be sitting, they may be standing. For example, let us look here. We have 7 different blanks, or let's put 8 different blanks. Now, you could have people like, let's say P is standing here, D is standing next to him, then you have A standing next to D. Then maybe you might have something, a clue like F is standing 2 places to the right of D, which means you skip 1 place and then you put F in 2 places right of D. Similarly, you might have a clue that B is 1 place to the left of C, which means B is to the immediate left of C. But here, as you can see, there are multiple possibilities of B and C. Instead, however, if you had an option which is linked to the ones which we have already fixed, like P, D, A and F. Say for example, there was a statement that C sits in between A and F. That means in the blank space between A and F, you have C sitting. Similarly, you can fill the remaining blank spaces, say for example, the way we are filling it here. Now, look at this pattern. People are sitting from, let's say, left to right. You could also have a question that maybe, people are facing northwards or people are facing southwards. However, this is a relatively simpler question. Why? Everybody is assuming to be facing the same direction. Note here, L means left, R means right. Everybody facing the same direction, be it this way or the opposite way. Which means if D here is to the left of A. And what about A with respect to D? A is to the right of D. This will happen only if there are 2 people sitting in the same, facing the same direction. Usually in linear arrangement, unless mentioned otherwise, we always assume that all of the people are sitting or standing facing the same direction. However, things become a little more complicated if some people are facing a particular direction and some people are facing the opposite direction. Basically, what I am trying to say is that, okay, fine. In case A is sitting to the right of D here and D is sitting to the right of A. However, assume the situation where D is facing in the northwards direction, while A is facing in the southwards direction. Now tell me, how is A seated with respect to D? Since D is facing northwards, which is upwards, D is sitting in such a way that A is sitting to his right and P is sitting to D's left. What about if you look at A? A is facing the opposite direction, that is southwards. On A's left, you have C, but on A's right, you have D. Effectively, because they are facing opposite directions, we are coming up with a situation where both D and A are sitting to each other's right. This is happening only if people are facing opposite directions. However, if you look at maybe people in your classroom itself, all of you are seated to each other's either left or right, and at the same time, since all of you are facing the same direction, if you are facing to the left of somebody, that person is to the right of you. However, if the person was facing the opposite direction, it wouldn't have been same. For example, this guy here, he's to my left. But if he looks at me, I am to his left as well. That is because we are facing opposite directions. Is this concept of opposite directions and same direction is clear to everybody?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. This is a very critical concept in understanding linear arrangement, and also in circular arrangement, this concept will become very important. So, to illustrate this point, let us look at a caselet. So here you have a caselet on the board. It says 7 girls, Rima, Seema, Lima, Pima, Ria, Priya and Henna are standing in a straight line. Not necessarily in the same order. So not necessarily that Rima is to the absolute left, or not necessarily that Henna is to the absolute right. It's just that there are 7 people who are standing in a particular sequence from left to right, and all of them are facing northwards. This point itself implies that all of them are facing the same direction, which makes the question a lot more simpler. Now, so what we'll do is, first itself, we'll fix a left side, and on the other hand, we have a right side. In between, we are having 7 blanks for the 7 girls. Okay, what we need to do is ultimately fill up all these blanks. The average time that I would recommend for such a caselet would be around 7 minutes, because this is on a relatively easier side. Also remember, all of them facing the same direction, which is why all you need to do is try and fix one person at least, and then relative to that person, it will be easy to fix up all the others. The main challenge is identifying who do you fix first. So look at the clues. There are around 4 clues A, B, C, D. Understand which is the one which you can use to initially get the sequence. So try and do this in another 7 minutes. Okay, so let us try and see what the arrangement will be like and what the answers to the 4 questions will be. Starting with the arrangement from left to right. The first clue says Ria sits exactly between Henna and Seema. However, we do not know where the 3 of them sit, even though we know that they are sitting in between each other. The second clue says only 2 persons sit between Priya and Henna. But again, we do not know the exact position in which either of one of them will fit. If we had known the position of either one of them, we could have fixed the others. So let us look out for clues whereby we can automatically understand which one to use. Clue C. Henna sits second to the left of Seema, while Pima sits third to the left of Lima. Again, this clue will not give you any concrete information, which is why it is very important that when you are attempting the caselet in the exam, you immediately look at clue D. Why clue D? Clue D says Seema sits at the extreme right end of the row, which means it is actually giving you an important clue with respect to one person's position. The moment you fix that person, you can get a position of the remaining people. So the first thing we'll do is fix the position of Seema, which is at the extreme right. Moment we have Seema fixed, we can get the others. In the exam, immediately look for clues, those clues whereby you can fix at least one or more persons. Do not look for relative clues right away at the start. After you fix a few people, then look at relative clues. But then the next important question is, in what sequence do I look at clues? I fix Seema. What is the next thing I look at? Look for those clues which are relative to Seema. Since you know where Seema is going to be seated, instead of wasting time reading other clues, look at the one which is directly related to Seema, which is A and C. In A it says Ria sits exactly between Henna and Seema, which means Ria must be sitting next to Seema in the 6th position from left to right. What about Henna? Since Ria sits in between Henna and Seema, Henna, and also it's mentioned in clue C that Henna sits second to the left of Seema. So Henna is in the 5th position from left to right. Now we fixed the 3 of them. What about the remaining 4? So there is one more hint, which is clue B, which says only 2 persons sit between Priya and Henna, which means if Henna sits in position number 5 from left to right, position 3 and 4 will be occupied by 2 other people, and Priya will be in position 2 from left. So we mark Priya in position 2 from left. Now the only clue remaining is part of clue C, which says Pima sits third to the left of Lima. Now The positions left are 1, 3 and 4. If Pima sits third to the left of Lima, it means Pima must be in position 1, because as you can see 3 and 4 are immediate left, they are not third to the left. Hence Pima sits in position 1 and Lima sits in position 4. The only remaining position is position 3, which must be occupied by that girl who has not been taken up yet. What is that name? Rima. So position 3 from left to right will be occupied by Rima. So now we've got the entire arrangement correct. Everything clear on the arrangement?
Yes, sir.
So let us go into the questions. Question 1 says, who amongst the following stands at the extreme left end of the line? At the extreme end of the line, you have Pima, which is option B. Moving on to question 2. 3 of the following pairs are alike in a certain way based on their standing positions in the above arrangement. Which is the odd pair? So here we need to analyze each pair and see which one is odd. So let's look by options one by one. Henna and Priya. So Henna is in position 5, Priya is in position 2. What is the difference? 3. Or there are 2 people in between. Looking at option B, Lima and Seema, their positions are 4 and 7, which means there are 2 people sitting in between. The third option here is Rima and Pima. Rima and Pima are in 1 and 3, which means there is only 1 person sitting in between. What about option D, Riya and Rima? Again you have 3 and 6, which is 2 people sitting in between. Hence the odd one is Pima and Rima. That is why this is the odd pair, because there is only 1 person sitting in between. In all the other 3 pairs, there are 2 people sitting in between. Moving on to question 3. How many of the girls are standing in between Priya and Riya? So, where is Priya standing? In second position. So, Priya is in second, and what about Riya? Riya is in 6th position. So, that is a gap of 4. Or how many girls? But how many girls standing in between? 3. That is Rima, Lima and Henna. Note, the difference between 2 and 6 is 4, but the people in between is only 3, 4 and 5. That is Rima, Lima and Henna. Hence the answer is option C. Question 4, the last question in this caselet. What is the standing position of Rima with respect to Lima? As you can see, Rima is in position 3, Lima is in position 4, which means Rima is to the immediate left of Lima, which is why the answer to question 4 will be option A. The key takeaway from this caselet is to be careful about the fact as to which sequence in which you apply your clues. As you saw in this question, using clues A, B, C would not have made sense until you use clue D to fix at least 1 person first. So in such caselets, always try and fix at least 1 person or more people first. Look for those clues whereby you can fix a certain number of people first, and then look for clues of relative arrangement. Also, this might have been a much more simpler caselet because there was only a single variable of left and right positioning. The caselet could have been more difficult in a number of ways. One is you could have had parameters associated with it. For example, each of these girls could be having a different attribute to themselves. Besides the fact they are sitting left to right, maybe they could have been wearing a different color outfit. So in that case, the puzzle could have been a little more complicated. As for example, you might have had clues like the girl who's wearing green is to the right of, let's say, Henna. Such a clue you could have had. In that case, using the positions, you would have to map not only the name of the person in which position she is in, but also the color of dress that she is wearing. Similarly, there could be other things like maybe she is working in a different company. So what is the company that the person is working in as well, along with left to right arrangement. These kind of cases which are a little more multivariate based is also something we will be discussing in subsequent topics, but initially I thought it would be best to understand a simple linear arrangement. However, don't worry, in the upcoming sessions, we will be discussing on more complicated caselets. So for this session, thank you everybody.
Thank you, sir.